Hey everybody, this is Jewelyn. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my monthly episode of Pot of Fame for the month of April. It is officially May 1st and in Hawaii, May Day is Lei Day in Hawaii, but I don't have any lei to wear. In today's video, I'm going to be highlighting a handful of babies that did great in the collection for the month of April. And pretty much April got canceled, so I've been home with the collection, and thank you guys so much for supporting both of the channels, whether you're watching the videos, watching the ads that pop up in the videos, and purchasing plants from me. I really appreciate each and every one of you. So let's go ahead and start with the front of the home. I have a bunch of plant babies that have been doing really good, and I want to bring up the smaller ones first. Two pincushions currently giving me some blooms, and I love to be able to share any of my plants in bloom during Pot of Fame. So here's the first one. So as you can see, there's little blooms that are popping up, and you do not want to get attached by these pincushions. They hurt like crazy. So if I am going to plant them up, if you watch my recent planting with Jewelyn, I either like to use like tools or towels to handle them. But I just love seeing them spread out throughout the collection, and I have a handful in the front of my home, and this has been with me probably for about 5 years, give or take. And I was so surprised to see some cute little blooms on it this morning. So I see a bunch that are gonna pop up eventually, so very fun to see in the collection. I'll show you another one, a smaller size, and I'll bring them up side by side so you can see in comparison. And I got both of these actually from Las Vegas years ago when we had our old like townhouse before we moved into the house where we're at right now in Las Vegas. And I did a very big planting with Jewelyn in the patio. That was years ago. But very cute to see these blooms pop up. A little pop of color here and there in the collection always makes me happy. And if you haven't watched the big planting with Jewelyn, me repotting a bunch of babies into terracotta, go ahead and check it out. This one in particular came from my subscriber Jill, so thank you Jill. And it looks like that my pincushion is happy with its new home, giving these cute little blooms. I want to say sometime last year I went to a small little town right on the outskirts of Santa Barbara, which is north of me, and I went to a plant nursery that did not allow dogs, so I had to leave Evie in the car. It was raining, I had the doors cracked down low, and I came back to my car nice and wet. But this was the one baby that I picked up, and I don't know what kind of epiphyllum this is, and there's small little pricks on here, so I have to be very careful when I handle this. But look guys, I was so surprised to see this cute little new growth here for the first time ever. This thing has given me some kind of sign that it's alive and happy, so I had to definitely highlight this little growth here. So that's so cute. Finally, I had this for months and I'm like, okay, are you happy? Are you not happy? But I love having these strange and interesting plant babies in the collection. It definitely gives different vibes compared to like a leafy house plant. But I love each and every one of them, and I definitely didn't want to skip out on this little new growth for Pot of Fame for April. So speaking of epiphyllums, there's two that I want to share in today's video. This is one of them, and I still have this in a nursery planter because I feel like I'm not ready to transplant it, maybe in an upcoming planting with Jewelyn. But look, there's a lot of new growths. So if you look here, all this whole section here, and all in here is all new growth. And I believe this gives off, I think maybe yellow small blooms, or that might have been the epiphyllum that pretty much died. And yeah, let's not talk about that one. But if you guys watch my planting with Jewelyn, plants that stress me out, there was an epiphyllum very similar to this one, and it pretty much just rotted from the rain. So you got to be really careful with the sun-loving babies. But look at all of this growth here, all new growth popping up. And so maybe sometime soon it might get transplanted if I can in a terracotta. But for now, this is living in the nursery planter. And I think out of all of the babies living in the front of my home, this might be one of the very few that have not been transplanted into something nice. But I definitely wanted to go ahead and give a shout out to one of my epiphyllums for all this super new cool growth. And you guys already know, you know what, maybe I should do an epiphyllum collective because I have a handful, and that'd be really fun to see them group up. I don't group up my plant babies unless I do a collective, so it'd be interesting to see where the collection is at. It'd be really fun, especially like my one Epiphyllum just died all to pieces. I'll share what my big Epiphyllum hybrid looks like at the end of the video because the blooms are getting longer, and I just actually looked at my content from last year to see when the Epiphyllum was blooming, and it was in the middle of May, which is approaching. So I guess every May it's gonna give me new blooms. I'll share that at the end because that's probably like my favorite plant of the day for today's video. Moving on to an update of my Rhipsalis blooms on my dancing bones. This was on a recent Pot of Fame, but because the blooms are starting to open up, I wanted to just kind of bring it on the channel so you guys can see what one of my favorite Rhipsalises is currently looking like with blooms. And as far as for, I'm trying to think, as far as for Rhipsalises, do I have any more in bloom right now? This might be the only Rhipsalis in bloom, and I absolutely love this guy. I had him in my collection for quite some time now. I actually scored this from my neighborhood nursery in Santa Monica. It was the only one of its kind, and being a Rhipsalis collector, I had to add the dancing bones to my collection. So very fun little blooms all throughout the plant. Look at how cute that is, not to mention all these new growth. So very fun and satisfying plant to have in my collection. I want to give a shout out to my Ficus that I want to say is my fault, the reason why it keeps losing its leaves. This plant, it will show you if it is not happy. All of the leaves will just fall off, but when I'm back home from whether it's Vegas or traveling and I see it lost all its leaves, I'll give it a nice water, and I kid you not, days later I have all these new growth popping up. So at one point this year, from me traveling, this whole thing was bald, and then now look at all of this new growth. Super super cute, and this currently lives on my Tiffany blue table, and sometimes it lives inside of my home. It's just such a very cute and dainty type of plant, and I'm trying to think if I have a lot of ficuses in my collection. Not so much, but this one is just very interesting, and I have it in a thrifted planter that I got from Poway, and of course with the blue and white aesthetic, and I love the feet. But this is such, like, gives me zen vibes. I could just look at it while I sip on some tea by the fountain. So super cute, fun update, and lots of cute new growth. So shout out to my Ficus for showing me lots of love, and I apologize for all the times that I've traveled and come home to it losing all its leaves. But it's doing so good, and it's loving life in the patio. I wanted to bring up a bigger house plant because I haven't showcased this alocasia in a long time. This is, I'm telling you, alocasias are either very finicky and sometimes they grow very well. It's just a give and take, and right now this is giving me a new leaf, and this is now living next to my fountain. So if you haven't watched my clean with me, kind of reorganizing, cleaning up the patio, you see now that this alocasia is living by the fountain, and it's giving me lots of new growth. In fact, my alocasia regal is still in the greenhouse, poor thing, with one leaf, but this one is doing really good. And so far I want to say it's happy in this big planter. I'll bring it up so you can see. And actually, when I did plant up this alocasia, do you guys remember, if you watched that planting with Jewelyn, the root ball is pretty much just as big as this planter. It fit kind of perfectly, and I told myself if I ever get a bigger planter, I would like to transplant it. So I have not forgot about you, alocasia, but maybe it likes to be a little bit root bound, because look at this new leaf here. So I'll set this on the side, and I have a few more plants to share for Pot of Fame. I wanted to bring up a Hoya. All of my Hoyas are doing really good. Here's one of them. This is just an all green Hoya carnosa, so not a tricolor, all green. In fact, when I came across this plant, I was like, wow, it looks like a tricolor but all green. I'm like, okay, Jewelyn, this is a Hoya carnosa. So a lot of new growth. In fact, here's a new section of growth up here. All this is new growth. All this is new growth. So if you are interested, look at all of this. A lot of new growth here. All this is new growth. So if you're interested in an all green Hoya carnosa, reach out to me. I can definitely probably take a rooted section of it or a cutting. And I know a bunch of you guys have been loving my Hoya babies. I sold out on a bunch of different Hoyas, so that's pretty cool. But I definitely love being able to help you guys with your collections, and this is a very fun plant to have. This one is actually in the mix of my plants on my studio door. So very fun to see all this new growth popping up. The Hoyas that are doing really good, and I like to try to showcase different plants when I do my pot of fame. But nice to see this one giving me a lot of new growth, so I want to give a little recognition to the Hoya carnosa. I have one more Hoya. Here is another Hoya that's doing really good, Hoya Bella. I know a bunch of my subscribers have gotten plant babies off of either my original Hoya Bella, and this is my second Hoya Bella. I have two, and I believe, I'm trying to think where I got this one from. I might have got this one from somewhere here in Southern California. I think this one is actually more fuller than my original one because I have taken so much from my original one. And I also have some Hoya Bella and leca balls on my plant stand in my home, also doing good. But if you take a look here, there's a lot of new sections with lots of new growth. And now that it lives right by the fountain here, I don't know, maybe it's happier here by the fountain. So I wanted to highlight this Hoya Bella for all this new growth. So if you guys are interested in Hoya Bella and don't have Hoya Bella, reach out to me. This is my second Hoya Bella. My first one is hanging against my wall here with some other Rhipsalises and Hoyas, but so cute. And I think both of them have bloomed on me, which is very nice. And I think a bunch of my plant friends might have Hoya Bella from me as well. So very fun, interesting plant to have in the collection. I definitely love Hoyas, you guys already know. This is so pretty. I want to put this one in a hanging basket too, but for now it just lives here on the plant stand behind me. And we'll see when it gives me blooms again. They're so cute. Here's one of my most prized babies that is giving me a new unfurled leaf. This is my Thai Constellation Monstera. So nice and variegated. This is actually the one leaf that it unfurled on me when I got the plant. So since I've gotten the plant, this leaf has unfurled on me and followed up by this one. Look at how cute. And I see like some nice variegations happening there. Oh my goodness, so cute. And I believe one or two of my subscribers has reached out for me for Thai Constellation. I do have two, so if you guys are interested, I might be willing to sell this one off to you, and I'll just keep my other one. And I also have the elbow, and the elbow, guys, is actually giving me a little knob popping up in the bottom, so hopefully a future baby. I'll share that in the next pot of fame. Maybe it will be more prominent sticking out, but I wanted to at least highlight this beautiful leaf unfurling. And so far, for the most part, I've been having some pretty good luck with the Thai Constellation, except if you watch recently, I had to prune off a huge leaf, and I shared me pruning it off on the vlog channel, and my grandma witnessed it. It was very sad because the leaf was really big, and these plants are super expensive, so I felt like I caught off like $100-something leaf. But very rewarding when you see new leaves unfurling. So I love this plant a lot. I definitely had to highlight this one. I wanted to save this plant for last because you guys know this is my most prized, well, I don't like to say that, but Epiphyllum that I have in my collection. This is a hybrid. I got this from San Gabriel a long time ago, and when I bought it, I'll turn it around so you can see. If you look on the bottom, all that cut sections, I purchased it just like that, and I should have asked for a discount, but I loved it so much I just bought it, and it's about to give me unfurled blooms. So as you see, the blooms have grew really long from the last time I shared in a pot of fame, and it's so interesting to see the cut sections. You can see it on this side here. The cut sections are also getting blooms. Take a look at that in the center. poor guys. I'm so upset about that. But this whole thing, guys, is going to be showcasing its bloom soon. Mid-May of last year was the first time I think I seen it bloom, and I got some really beautiful photos. And when I think about it, I would love to try to preserve the blooms. I'm gonna figure out what method I want to try to practice on saving these blooms, because I would love to save the blooms and do some kind of art piece to... I don't have any room to display it in my studio, but it'd be really nice to showcase the blooms and have them forever. Look at it, it's so beautiful and gorgeous. So that is going to wrap up my pot of fame for the month of April. It is officially May, and as you see, a bunch of plant babies are doing really great in the collection. I could go on and on and on about all the new growth in the collection, and that would just take me all day. So I like to do this once a month, where I gather a handful of plant babies in the collection to showcase them and give them their little few minutes on the channel to shine. I love each and every one of them, from my smallest ones to my cheapest ones to my most expensive bougie ones. I love them all and in between. If you guys are new, welcome to the channel. Subscribe for daily uploads between the main channel Monday to Thursday, the vlog channel Friday through Sunday. You get a video each and every day. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any of these plants. Are they giving you any new growth? And what was your favorite plant in today's video that is doing well in the collection? And I will see you guys tomorrow for another video. Until next time, aloha from Santa Monica, California.